All right.
morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great.
Hey, Beth. How are you this morning?
Good. How are you?
Good. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Today is officially the first day of a new series with Perfect Agent System.
You know what else it is?
What?
It's officially like the first day I was cold driving here this morning. It's like cold.
I know. I had it.
I mean, maybe it's not officially like, a day for that, but it felt cold for the first time to me today.
Well, it was because I got home last night and I guess my husband ordered firewood. So my driveway was covered with firewood. I couldn't get my car in the garage. So I had my first day of scraping the windows today. So it's here.
I had a little bit of the scrape, just a little bit.
Okay.
It was easy.
Well, I handed the scraper to my husband, I
Of
should
course.
say.
That's
Okay.
the duty of a good man.
As you should.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just get right started. It's a 10-minute video today. So it's about Asana. It's a great organizational system that you can utilize both personally and professionally. So let me share my screen.
And we do here at the company use it a lot, right?
Yes, we
Different people use
do.
it for different things.
Absolutely, we
Yeah.
do. We love it.
I love
So
it.
let's share. I said share. There we go. Share our screen. Get to perfect agent system. And here we go.
Setting up your Asana account is an easy process. Let's take a look at the basic features as well as some tips for keeping your account organized and efficient. Anyone can sign up for an Asana account for free by going to asana.com. This is where you create an account. Enter your email and it will take you through the setup process. Asana is software designed for teams, so a lot of the setup questions assume you're a business with several staff members to invite. If you're wanting to use the software just for yourself, you can skip all of those questions. I already have a demo account set up, so I'm going to log in over here. The first thing you'll see is a blank list, which is the My Tasks section. This is where you can keep a list of basic tasks and organize everything you need to do. You can write down anything that comes to mind. Start adding tasks in this blank space by either hitting the Add Tasks button or simply typing in the empty space. It's very easy to add a task, hit enter, and be brought down to start typing a new task. I recommend starting with a brain dump of tasks you know you have to do today, later on in the week, or maybe even next month. Just add a few things so that you have some real concrete examples that mean something to you as we start using the system. Buy dog food, research new website options, renew passport, pick up prescriptions at the pharmacy, pay rent, buy socks, pick up open house signs from the office, call Brian about the FHA loan changes, update LinkedIn bio. This works fine as a normal to-do list, but I'd like to organize it a bit more. Let's say I don't want to renew my passport for a while, but I might want to pick up prescriptions at the pharmacy today. If you go over to this circle, you can designate this task as something you want to accomplish today. You'll see that as soon as I put it into the today section, everything else on the list was automatically put into upcoming. When you start putting items into sections, you'll see those labels appear. There's also a third section for later. All three sections are built into Asana, and I highly recommend sorting your tasks into them based on when you need to get things done. Now that we have the sections, we can drag and drop list items to move them into whatever section we want. Let's rearrange a few items. So if I don't need to research website options until later, I can drag that down here. Now you'll notice there's a sidebar here that corresponds to each task as I click on it. This gives you the option to add descriptions to your task. Perhaps your vet recommended that you find a dog food that includes chicken as one of the primary ingredients. You can put that information in here to remind you. Or maybe you want to note the hours your pharmacy is open and that your prescription is supposed to be ready by 2 p.m. that day. The description box is useful to store all sorts of notes that you may need to complete a task. Under Call Brian, we can add his phone number and some questions about the FHA loan changes. You'll also notice that there's a comment section below the change log. It's a helpful place to write reminders of the status of your task. If you're using Asana as a team, then it's a great place to communicate with other members as you assign tasks back and forth. Let's open the Renew Passport task and add a note that you went to the website and said you could renew until within 3 months of the expiration date. You know the task doesn't need to be completed immediately, so you can date and sort it to be done later. But when the task pops up, you'll have a record of why it was delayed. Let's say the passport expires March 10th, so we'll set the due date for December 10th, 3 months out. Since this task won't be done for months, we'll want to move it into the later section. A week from the due date, Asana will automatically move it into upcoming. And on December 10th, it'll appear in the today section. Now that the task is dated and sorted, we can completely forget about it and know that Asana will move it up in the list when it's appropriate. I suggest you always date whatever task you add to the later section for this reason, since an undated task can get lost at the bottom of a long list. As soon as we complete a task on our list, we get to mark it off as finished. You can either click the checkbox here or over here on the sidebar. It disappears from our list. If for some reason you made a mistake and didn't mean to hit it, you can always uncheck it or go up here to the search bar and type it in. You'll see that a list of both open and completed tasks shows up. So if I just search for buy, I can see buy socks, which I've done, and buy dog food, which I haven't done. A more advanced feature that you might find useful is repeating tasks. For example, we know that rent is always due on the 1st of the month. So not only are we going to mark that it's due then, but we're also going to set it to repeat. Here, the default is set for 7 days after completion, but we can change it to monthly. And now every 1st of the month, there's a task to remind us to pay rent. As soon as I check off that I paid the April rent, the task disappears and shows back up at the bottom of the list to remind us to pay rent on May 1st. This will keep looping indefinitely. Now, in addition to the today, upcoming, and later sections, it can also be helpful to group tasks by context. An easy example is errands. Buy dog food is an errand, so I'm going to go up to the tag icon and enter errand to make a new tag. You can even choose to label it with bright colors so that it stands out. Now that I have the errand tag, I can go to some of my other tasks that are also in that category, click the tag icon, start typing, and you'll see the tag pops up and you can just select it. Now that we've labeled a few, it's pretty easy to quickly see what errands need to be done. If you start to get a long list and some of the tasks fall further down the screen, you can click the errand tag and it will take you to a list where you can see all your errands in one place. Let's go back to My Tasks to think of other types of tags you might want to create to help organize your to-do list. For instance, you might have some calls you need to make, so let's make a tag for calls and label it blue. Now, if you wanted to spend some time in the office making calls, you could select the tag and easily see a list of who you need to contact. Another advanced feature I want to show you is subtasks. Some to-dos are almost like mini projects because there's so many little tasks you have to do along the way. Subtasks work just like tasks, but show up in the sidebar. Renewing a passport might involve a few steps before it's completed. You can add research process, take passport photo, confirm vacation dates, and anything else that is necessary to finish the task. Then maybe you want to rearrange the order. You can grab these dots and switch things around. Maybe you should confirm your vacation dates before you do anything else so you know if you're renewing your passport in time. Let's move it up here. When you finish a subtask and check it off, it actually stays in the list so that you can see your progress. It's a good reminder of what you've already done related to this task and what you still have left to do. The final feature I wanted to mention is attachments. Click this little paperclip icon and you can select a file from your computer to attach. Or you can actually drag and drop a file directly into a task. Now that we've explored all the features you'll use for individual tasks, let's talk about projects. Over here, you'll find a button to create a new project. Creating a project gives you a place to organize a more complicated set of tasks in order to complete a bigger goal. Rebranding your website, updating your marketing materials, or creating an emergency kit for your home are all projects that you may want to plan separately from your main tasks. Let's use creating an emergency kit as an example. Click Create Project here, and now you can see the project has been created, and we have a space where we can add all the tasks we need. Let's brainstorm some tasks. You need to make emergency water supplies, buy tea lights, research stove options, want to include food and emergency blanket, documents, a cell phone charger, and a wool blanket. I also found these articles on bug out bags and one on grid down disasters.
What?
Now that I have some ideas, I want to organize things even more. Let's make some sections. You can add a section by creating a new task and ending it with a colon. We can add include in kit and then type a colon and press enter. Now we have a section that separates the tasks that involve purchasing and researching from the individual items I should put in the kit. Let's make a reference section and also a to-do section for the action items I need to accomplish before I can pack up the kit. Now you might notice that none of the tasks I just created show up in my tasks. That's because you wouldn't want to create a project and then have your main task list cluttered up by every step of the project all at once. You may just want the first few items on your list to show up, or you may want to keep them only in the project and reference them when you're ready to work. If you would like for something on a project to show up on your My Tasks list, go to the task in the project and switch it from being unassigned to being assigned to you. You'll see your picture next to the task, and now it will show up in My Tasks. It has appeared in a category called New Tasks because Asana doesn't know if you want to do this today or later. Now, if I click on it, I can see that it's assigned to me, it's part of the project emergency kit, and it's even in the to-do section of that project. I'm going to move it to upcoming because I don't need to do it right away. Now you can organize your projects any way that you want, label it by color, and you can even create templates for projects that you might repeat often. We'll be covering that in a future video. Once you've gotten a handle on how to use Asana, make sure you take some time to really think about how you want to organize your tasks and projects, and how these lists can help you get more things done. Like any new system, it may slow you down at first, but will save you a lot of time once you're comfortable with it. The more you add, customize, and organize, the less work your brain has to do to keep your business going. And the best way to get better at Asana is to use it every day.
Okay. I thought that was very interesting. But I thought I'd start with you, Beth, since you are the champion of Asana.
Actually, she's the champion of a lot of things.
She
in this
really
company.
is.
Yeah.
I know. I was calling her on my way in this morning, like, hey, I had idea.
And I wrote it down.
Thank you. So you want to share what we do and how we use Asana within our office, and then we can talk about how an agent can transfer those ideas and.
Yeah. So we have, like for new agents, we have an onboarding checklist so that we don't miss any piece of the puzzle. And we have it set up as a template so that we can just copy it for each new person. It doesn't get messed up. And then we have it listed in the order that needs to be done, which would work with new listings, getting your pictures, putting the sign in the yard, making sure that you don't forget any of those things. You can include the paperwork with the subtasks and everything. And
So have a project called new listing, and then the agent just has to duplicate that list, maybe name it whatever the address is or
Yep.
the owner's names, and then they have a list in order of what they need to do.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So let me pull up my Asana and turn you around. Is this good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So as you can see, this is our onboarding template right here. If we wanted to duplicate it, we would just hit duplicate and rename, and then it'll, in the background, it'll just Duplicate it and you'll get a little notification down here in the corner that it is ready. If I put it down, can you still see?
Yep.
Okay,
You would
good.
rename it because it would be for a different person.
It would be for a different person
Okay,
because this is just the template that we have set up so that nobody.
so yeah, everybody gets one assigned to them and.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So, and we've got, like, this is Karen's job. So all of the initials for whichever admin is in charge of doing it, gets assigned over here. So then as you can see, I haven't given Heather a key yet. Or put her speed dial on. Maybe I'll do that today. So these are the only two things that are left in Heather's onboarding list. But you can go over here and you can go ahead.
We can't see up there. We're seeing the bottom of your screen. Sorry. There you go.
Okay. So over here, you can change it so that you can see all the tasks and you can see who they were assigned to and that they're completed and all that kind of stuff.
I like it because it shows up on the left under projects. And then you can check each project that's still there and go, okay, all right, Heather still needs a key and needs to be put in the speed dial. Then you go to your next project and you can see what's not completed yet. And you always know, okay, this isn't done. And once it's done, you just archive it. And it's, you know, it's done. So you can get back to see it.
When you're done with it, you just click these three dots, click archive, and then it removes it from this list here. You can move these lists around. I have like the active agents that I'm working on at the top, and then under favorites are all of our templates so that they don't get lost in that big list. And then like we have the entire admin manual for the office here. We have a calendar for vacations. That way we can keep track of, Karen can keep track of who's going where, etc. I mean, there's just so many, like this one is just a file. It's a task with a file attached to it so that we have a list of all of the agent tech codes easily accessed. We use, where's the whiteboard? There we go. We use this whiteboard as the inner office assignment. So like when another admin needs help, they will put it there and assign it, and then it keeps track of who's doing what and who needs the help and blah, blah, blah. But that would work for, I feel weird not talking to you.
Okay, we saw it. That's okay.
Okay. So that'll keep track of like if you do have an assistant or something, and you can assign them tasks as well. As a reminder, as you remember things, you know, that kind of stuff. I love it because I'm a list person. Plus it's portable, so you're not carrying paper around with a checklist. And that helps especially because there's so many of us working on one project at a time. So it's easier to see digitally where we all are and if something needs to be, if Slack needs to be picked up. Sorry, I could see your reflection outside and I was confused.
Yes, I think it would be good if you took a look at, okay, this is everything you need to do for a listing. This is everything for a pending, when something is pending, and this is what I need to do for a closing. You can have everything down there to, pick up closing gift, have details of where you're going or the phone number of your photographer. uploading certain things, like if you want to send your clients a list of, you know, the utilities and phone numbers, you can have that attached in that task. So when you get to that point, it's right there at your fingertips instead of going to find it somewhere else. And I see it being really keeping people on track, both as individual agents, but also teams. And then if you have a project coming up, like a appreciation event, I mean, that's a good way of keeping track of who's supposed to do what by when. So everything's covered.
Yeah.
Well, our agents who are watching this today
Mhm.
are either been in business 15, 20 years, or they are brand new. A lot of agents who are watching this tend to be some of the newer ones who are watching it. So to create this foundation just for themselves, right? Just the basics that you just, you know, like what do you do when you get a listing, and what do you do, you know, as the foundation of their business. And as their business grows, either for them being busier and busier, they have this started from the beginning versus like later pulling their hair out because they're too busy and they're not organized. And all of a sudden now they need an assistant, or another agent wants to join them. And, you know, they have to then go back and recreate how they do everything and how they So if you're newer and you start this on a basic level and just keeping it going and expanding it, so it, as a person who's not maybe as prone as the two of you to be just naturally efficiently organized and great about it, you know, this could just be really good for just your average getting started agent to have some of this on a small basis, but it expands and grows as their needs grow, which can mean eventually, you know, having a team, having assistants work for them, having just everything.
And then you already have the groundwork.
You have it done, and you have for yourself in the process of doing all that, you've made your own life easier.
Yes. And it's so easy to see on the left-hand side, as you're saying, if you're getting busier, you can see your projects, and you can see your listing, you can see what you have pending and closed. You can open those up and see where you are and just know at a glance.
Well, we have Booge and you know, there's lots of CRMs type of things out there. Maybe this doesn't completely, you know, take over from something else, or maybe it does, but either way, this is a great way to get started.
Mhm.
If nothing else, just on the checklist, if nothing else.
And you are right. If this isn't for someone, if they give this a shot and they don't really care for Asana, within Booge, you can create these task plans and things as well for a new and then also if you're on a team, assign them to people and give them due dates. So there's plenty of options. This is just one,
Right.
But that was a great point. You know, you just have to find what system works best for you. I can see a lot of people who use Booge wanting to create something like this within Booge because they're already using it with their contacts and so it kind of depends on what you use. If you're someone who's not using Booge, maybe you want to use this instead. Good point.
Yep. And it works with, I've got my reoccurring tasks to pull the copy numbers to get to Julie in the middle of the month. And then at the end of the month to submit the numbers to the copier place to keep all that on track. So it just pops up and it reminds you. And then you get an email when something's due or when somebody else assigns something to you.
Mhm.
So it's not just that it's going straight into Asana and you're not seeing it. You're getting the notification.
I'm pretty sure they have an app also.
I believe
so
so as well.
And so you can have it on the go.
Yeah.
So all our office admins use this, correct?
Yep.
And it's all organized and overseen and efficient because of that.
Let's say we.
Helps keep them in line and helps you
Hi,
make sure
Justin.
that everything's getting done.
Yes, exactly. Who's this?
Hi,
All right.
Beth.
No, Beth's helping with training.
Oh.
So, all right. Well, I think this has been a lot of great information. And we'll get this up on OKI and RU and YouTube and so that everyone can watch it later. Yes. All right. Everyone have a
Thank you,
great,
Beth.
yes, thank you so much. Everybody have a great day today.
Bye.
Bye.